Awesome, man. Welcome, dude.
Yeah, man.
So I wanted to have you on because I started following your Instagram not that long ago, but I found you through some of the friends that I have on here through Airsoft, some of the
Okay.
Airsoft friends I have on here that follow you. And I'm guessing because you do all these cool gear videos on your TikTok
Oh,
that
yeah.
are pretty funny. So on TikTok, you're Grimy American, and on Instagram, you're Grimy American as well, but MD Gun Guy, is that right?
Maryland Gun Guy on Facebook. I mostly go by on there.
Okay.
But the other two is Grimy American. I try to keep it all the same.
Yeah. Well, give a intro on yourself and like your background and how you ended up doing TikTok videos on gear.
Yeah. So background, not a ton. I've just been a gun guy for a really long time. Um, I've always been kind of interested in content creation to a certain extent. Just really lost it for a long time. I used to make videos back in high school. But one day I was like, you know what? Screw it. I'll just go ahead and I'll just make a video, see what happens. First one I did on TikTok did pretty well. I mean, 10,000 views was the most views I got on anything. So I was like, oh, okay, cool. We'll just keep this thing going. Um, Started off just making fun of gun people, like certain people within the gun community.
Yeah.
I had night vision at the time, so I was making fun of night vision people because
The ones that are
everyone does
like
the
too serious, you know?
exactly. They all do the same stuff. They got the picture of them with the stars in the background with some quote, and I was like, that's kind of ridiculous. Just you can see at night. It's cool. Leave it at that. So it kind of started there, and then I started making fun of staccato owners, and it just kind of snowballed into political comedy, that kind of stuff. So yeah, that's just kind of where it went. And then Instagram, I've always kind of posted here and there. Definitely don't have the following on there as I do on TikTok, but that was mostly just cool pictures. And I just started putting my videos up there too, just to see what happens. And I've gotten more followers from that, that's for sure. So
Yeah.
yeah, just lighthearted, gun adjacent comedy for the most part.
Yeah, it's pretty funny. I saw your recent video on TikTok with Tom Cruise and fish.
Oh my God, right? Like I saw a story about that and I was
Yeah.
like, hold on, this can't be true. And then it kept going and going. And then I had a couple beers that night and I was like, well, we'll make a quick video because that's insane. People need to hear about this.
Yeah, I went on your TikTok and I followed you on TikTok. It's not through this. It's through my other one of my other channels, CNR reviews. So if you see it pop up, that's me.
Oh, gotcha.
But
Okay, cool.
yeah, I post on there. It's a little background on this channel. It started about 5 years ago. Two of my sons got into airsoft with a good friend of theirs
Hmm.
and started doing some big like mil sim type of things. Okay, events like 3 day mil sims and getting into all the gears and guns and all that stuff. And I was coming out of being paralyzed with an illness. I was totally healthy after the military. Never went to the doctor. Never got sick.
Oh, damn.
And then out of the blue got this thing called Guillain-Barré syndrome.
Hmm.
So laid up, coming out of that, I needed something to do instead of blowing my brains out. And I uh, I started a handful of YouTube channels, which I would have never done before because I was an outdoor guy, right? Like
Right.
let's go outside, get off your phone, let's go do this. So yeah, I just needed something to do where I could sit and I could use my hands, and my legs didn't work too well. So um, that's where this channel came out of. I was like, oh, you guys got some cool stuff. Let me film it. And then a couple years ago, maybe 3 years ago, uh, they all got busy. They're in their early 20s at the time. They're in their mid
Hmm.
late 20s now. My boys are, and they got busy with life. Married, kids, house, promotions at work, kind of thing.
Right.
And I wanted to keep the
That
channel
goes.
going. Yeah. And I started talking with people on here, and I didn't really make an official podcast until a couple years ago. And I was just kind of talking with people through our Discord. They would call me and ask me questions because I was working on some of these guns, the airsoft guns, fixing them. And they would call and ask, hey, how do you fix this or whatever? We'd do a video call so I could see what they're doing. We'd fix the
Right.
problem in 5, 10 minutes, and then we'd talk for an hour and a half about life. And I was like, I'm going to start recording these and putting them up. And that's kind of what the originals turned out to be. And then I was like, man, after, I don't know, 50 or so episodes, I was like, I guess I'll make this a podcast. So that's kind of where we're at now. And then,
It must be doing well. I checked you out the other day on YouTube, and it was like we got like 13,000, 14,000
so
subscribers over there.
those subscribers came from the original part of our channel, which
Mm-hmm.
was unboxings and reviews. And
Okay.
those get a lot of hits. The unboxings they draw a lot of people, even people that are not into airsoft. So, uh,
Sure.
anyone that's followed our channel for a while, they'll see our subscriber was going up. Our views were, our unboxings would get like 20,000 views, 15,000 views, 11,000 views, whatever, halfway decent. And then the podcast gets nothing.
Oh
So,
Lord.
oh yeah, yeah, it's like
You got to experiment.
I do get more downloads from audio, like
Right.
Spotify and iHeartRadio and Apple Podcasts, but people driving to work, at work, listening that way. But the video part is, it's what it is. But the the way that it drew me in to keep doing the podcast was that being in the mental state I was in with being frustrated with not being able to walk or do, get my abilities back for a while, it was it was therapy for me. I was
Right.
talking to people. I was like hearing their stories, hearing some of their. I've had a lot of guys on that were law enforcement or current law enforcement and military veterans, and that got into airsoft for PTSD to help them with overcome their mental stuff, and
Right.
uh, and it really helped me. And it's become a passion over the last year and a half.
Yeah, man.
That
Stay focused on something.
yeah, yeah,
Keep your mind
absolutely,
busy
man. Yeah,
for
right.
sure.
And so I started reaching out to people around the world. We have, well, this episode we're recording now will be 372, number 372. And I've had people on from Russia and Poland and Germany, and I just reach out to
All over.
everybody.
Good Lord.
Yeah. And it's probably some episodes are 50% about airsoft and the rest about life. And some are like 10 minutes about airsoft and 3 hours about their life, like when I
Right.
talked to this girl in South Africa, she's like, I said, what was high school like, in South Africa? Like, I don't know. What do you guys learn? What kind of sports do you have in high school? I'm curious about stuff like that. So,
Not
uh,
a lot of airsoft going on over there, I'm assuming.
there's actually a lot, dude.
Oh, really? No kidding.
Oh my God, bro. There's actually in other countries, airsoft is bigger than here in America.
Oh, well, yeah. I mean, I bet we get the real
It's
thing over here.
right. And that's the big thing
Yeah.
is that a lot of these other countries, like the UK, they don't have
Yeah.
access to real guns. So airsoft is huge over there. I've done podcasts with probably 20, maybe 30 different people in the UK that are just really, I mean, this is like their passion, right?
Oh,
They have
yeah.
a lot of fields over there.
It looks
South
like a blast.
Africa's, yeah. I mean,
I've never done it personally, but I think there was actually a guy from UK that I would watch for a long time. He would had the scope, like the scope camera, so he
yeah.
could he had the sniper rifle, so he'd be shooting people, and you see him like hit him in the eye or something like that. I don't know. It was just the funniest videos. That guy, he was like on it every time.
Oh
So
yeah.
fun to watch those kind of videos.
Yep, absolutely. I had him on a couple times actually. Kicking Mustang. I think he's got one of the biggest followings on YouTube right now with airsoft, kind of thing. So,
Yeah,
but yeah, and that's kind of where this thing came from. And I reach out to all different kind of people with different backgrounds, uh, even if they haven't played airsoft or paintball.
hmm
It's if it's something that my audience is interested in, then I'll invite them on. So
hey, I appreciate you having me on.
yeah, dude, I think
I'll
it's
try to
cool,
make it
man.
interesting for your viewers here.
Oh, you do. I mean, everyone's got a story, and everyone's story can help somebody in some way. Uh, even if it's just a lot of airsofters are the gear queers, okay? Like they love gear.
Yeah, right.
They love to
It's
learn about
try or
all the
nothing.
gear. Yeah.
Yeah,
And they
I
really
believe it.
like using the real steel gear,
Oh yeah.
because
Well,
it's durable.
there's a guy. I don't know if you know him. You might, but it's River City Ranger. You know him?
Yep. Oh yeah.
Okay, so
I
that's
know
kind of he
Aaron.
got me kind of on track with kind of this airsoft stuff. So he's been talking to me about like some of his builds, and the amount of money they put in some of these airsoft guns is insane. You could have the real thing almost for what they're putting into some of these guns. It's
For sure.
crazy. But one day I'll get there. We'll see. I'm gonna get one of these events.
Well, you keep doing your videos with you on your TikTok. If you don't mind, I'm going to bring up your TikTok here in a minute
Yeah, sure.
and share
Go
the
for it.
screen because there's a few of these on here where you're swimming in a pool with your headgear on, and I think it's
Yeah,
funny as shit, bro. Like you make some funny videos.
dude, trying to film that one was fun
I'm sure.
because we were in a public hotel swimming pool,
Right.
and there was people out there watching, and I was like, "Look, I kind of want to do this video. It's been in my head for a minute." And I was like, "You know what? I'm just gonna go for it." That video didn't do that well, which is kind of upsetting, but whatever. I got it done.
Yeah, I mean it's fun though.
Oh yeah.
It's great.
So what you don't see is the family of like 30 people off to the right that were just watching me do this.
Oh my God, that's funny.
I was like, we got to do it. We got to do it real quick.
Did you ever tell, did they ever ask or
Nobody said a word.
really?
Nobody said a word. Just some odd glances.
They probably didn't want to mess with you, bro. Okay.
Yeah, probably not. They're like, this guy's something's off.
This
It was
dude
like,
just got back from Afghanistan. We don't know what kind of mental state he's in. Look at his, I mean, he might have a knife tucked in his swimwear. I don't know.
yeah, right. Yeah, it was like 12 in the afternoon. Me and the wife had just got back from breakfast drinking, and it was a good day. But yeah, that was hilarious.
Nice. Yeah, you got some good stuff on here, man. Yeah,
Yeah,
you
a
go
lot of
over
this stuff.
you got some informative things too. I saw the one about your plate carriers where
Occasionally, I'll
you're
throw some stuff
comparing
up like that.
yeah, yeah, the plate carrier the differences between like level two right here.
Oh yeah, yeah. So that's a company that I work with on TikTok. So I'm part of their affiliate group. Good company, really good company. And I mean, I like pretty much every product. I run those level four plates and pretty much all my get ups at this point.
Hmm. Now, how did you reach out to these guys or did they find you on TikTok?
No, so they just reached out to me one day. I mean, I didn't have a very high follower count, which is kind of odd because they usually go for people that are a little bit with a more of a follower count than I did. I think I only had like 7,000 at the time,
Yeah,
and they reached out. They just liked my content and what I was doing, and they were like, "Hey, we'd like to have you on the team. You seem like a good fit." So we've been kind of working together ever since.
yeah. Now,
So
when you grew up in Maryland, um, were you always into guns growing up? Was your dad into guns?
nobody was into guns really. I kind of developed it. I don't really know when, but I can't really pinpoint the exact time. But I was just coming out of high school. I really had no interest in firearms before then.
Yeah.
I was always of the mindset like, who needs those? I was a student of the blade when I was younger. When I was in high school, I was like, oh, dude, knives are way better than guns. They don't run out of ammo. Uh, Soon after that, like 2010, I was like, I want a shotgun. So I bought a shotgun, and it was downhill from there. I've had the obsession ever since. And then when all the crazy stuff started going on in like 2013, with Sandy Hook and all that, I was like,
Oh yeah.
the world's getting crazy, so I'm gonna start, really getting into this thing. So that's when the body armor started and everything else. So it's been a uphill battle, downhill battle. I don't know. My bank account would say it's downhill, but
All
otherwise.
right.
But yeah, I've had the sickness for a while now at this point.
I mean, the good thing about some of this gear though is when you get some good gear, you got it forever, man. Like,
Oh, for sure, for
yeah,
sure.
like those plates and stuff, that shit's gonna last forever.
Oh,
Um,
without a doubt, yeah.
yeah,
And you kind of the bad part is I've kind of gone through the whole, when you're first getting into firearms and stuff, you always get like, hey, I'm gonna get this Amazon red dot, and then you kind of work your way up there. So I started right there with everyone else. I might make fun of some of those people nowadays, but I've been there. So if you're seeing my videos, trust me, I've been there.
right. Yeah,
Yeah,
most of these guys have. I mean, when most of the airsofters I've talked with, they all have like their teams and that they run with, and a lot of these guys have their own discords, for their teams and groups. And one of the big questions when new people come in is, hey, what do I start with? Like
right.
what's worth it to start? Because some stuff is is too cheap to just,
Hmm.
it's not even worth it. It's going to break the first time, and that's really frustrating. But yeah, there's a lot of popular videos like that on real steel stuff too, is, like
Oh
what
yeah.
kind of gear to start with? Like, what do you,
Yep.
there's a good friend of mine, Muddy Reviews is his YouTube. He does some really good reviews on in-depth reviews on gear. And I
Hmm.
mean, he goes down to the stitching. He shows the difference between like a one Tigris and a something else, off-brand. Um, and he was in the Navy for a lot of years, 20 years. He retired
Hmm.
recently. Actually, the last episode I did with him, he had just finished up his retirement paperwork and stuff, and it just got out. But he's been into gear. He's always been attracted to like just good gear,
Yeah.
and those are important videos to put out.
Oh,
Like,
for sure.
yeah, because they
Well,
help
I mean,
a
as
lot of
a
people get
something like a new
started.
buyer, I mean, you got to have, at least some kind of frame of reference for what's a good starting point, what's not. I wish there was. YouTube was still kind of in its early days of firearm stuff when I was getting into a lot of this stuff.
Yeah,
Um, but I wish there was what we have now. The kind of resources you have on YouTube nowadays is insanely better than it was back then. So
right.
back then no one was bullying me for having red anodized parts or an Amazon red dots. I wish there was somebody doing that. I would have had some good stuff a long time before now. But
Right.
yeah, but I think right now we're both in the greatest age for firearms knowledge and also the worst because it's so heavily
Censored.
censored
Uh-huh.
in so many ways. It's insane. And that's another reason why I kind of went towards the direction I did on TikTok because I wanted to do more firearm stuff. I started off with shooting videos,
Mm,
and quickly a lot of those got taken down. So I was like, well, we got
yeah.
to pivot. We got to do something else, or I'm not going to have this channel very long. So, but yeah, that's why I'm in a adjacent kind of firearms esque area right now.
Right. Yeah, it's hard to find a platform to post that kind of stuff. Even this, when I started doing these podcasts, it was well, even the unboxing reviews. Like when they first changed their terms of service back in 2019 was when
Yeah.
we first noticed it, or early 2020. It was an overnight difference. So
Hmm.
uh, our subs, the videos were our videos were getting pushed like normal, okay, to anyone that was interested in that type of category. And then as soon as they changed their terms of service and included toy guns, quote unquote, which airsoft guns are considered toy guns, when they
Hmm.
included those with their verbiage of real steel, then it was overnight. Our numbers went down, the monetization went down. Like
Oh
more
yeah.
than half of our videos overnight got demonetized, and it was a debacle, man. Like going through and trying to uh, get it reviewed, right?
Oh
Request a
yeah.
review. And when we had like, I don't know, maybe 200 and something videos up at the time, or 100 and something, we were putting out, when we first started our channel, we were putting out 3 videos a week.
Oh
Okay.
wow.
So I was running the channel. The boys didn't want to run the channel. I just needed something to do, like I said. So and by the way, I was on steroids. I was on prednisone to try to help me walk,
Yeah.
which I had never been on steroids before. And this stuff made me hyper as hell, bro. I was like
Oh yeah.
sleeping 2 hours a night. Okay. My mind was racing. My ears were ringing constantly. It was I
Right.
was eating like a fiend. Okay. And yeah. And it was really difficult adjustment, but I was constantly on them about, hey, what more content? What are we doing? What are we doing? Come on. And like, you got this new
They're like,
gun.
yeah,
Let's
we got to
film it.
rest.
And they're like,
We need a
oh my
break.
God, dude. I mean, for 2 years, they heard me, and I would have some roid rages too, by the way. Okay. I was
Hmm.
very volatile emotionally. And so we had a lot of good times. We had a lot of fun. But when I would have a freak out moment, look out, dude. Okay. They were like, okay, we're leaving. All right, we're getting out of
Yeah.
here. So, but we were putting out a ton of videos per week just because I was just I never slept. And so we racked up all these videos right away, and then overnight they got demonetized, and I was trying to figure all that out. So when I started this podcast, I was like, okay, we're going to start putting all this on every platform out there. The Rumble came up because
Oh
they were
yeah.
like,
Yeah.
okay, hey, alternative to YouTube. We won't censor all that stuff. Spotify, right? When I was
Hmm.
doing the audio, or I could do the audio versions. I started doing the audio versions before they came out the video. And then they switched over to video after the Joe Rogan podcast with Elon Musk, the first one. And
Oh yeah, yeah,
yeah, remember that.
yep,
And so I was really into putting it on there because it was uncensored, and so we could talk about guns, we could show guns on here. And a lot of times on these podcasts, they're show and tell. I'm like, yeah, show your gear, man. Let's go.
right.
And at first people were like, are we sure, are you sure we're allowed to show it now? Like, bro, if YouTube takes down, I got it on 10 other things. I don't give a shit. Let's go.
Yeah.
So there's no rules on here. There's no self-censorship. Somebody on here, I had one before, said they're trying to tell me a story, and they said, well, this one guy unalived himself. This is the first time I heard this term. This a
Oh,
couple
dude,
years
yeah.
ago. And I go, unalived? What the fuck? What is that? And he was like, well, I can't say the word. And I was like, on here you can. And I was like, are you talking about suicide? He was like, yeah. I was like, oh, okay. Well, dude, you could just say it. It's okay. It's like, I'm not following this whole sense self-censorship thing just so I
Oh
can
no.
get views and stay monetized on YouTube. Fuck off, bro. Not doing
Hmm.
that. Yeah.
Yeah, it's insane the because from one app to another, it's so different. Like even the difference between
Right.
Instagram and TikTok, what I can and cannot do and can and cannot say. I mean, you've been on Instagram, you've seen reels. I mean, you log in there and like the first video is some dude getting crushed by a train. I
Yeah.
mean, it's insane what gets away. But if you say something bad on there, I mean, I think I just said the words "ew" on a video once, and I got taken down on TikTok. Like I was like, you gotta be kidding me. So, but yeah, it's just the the way you got to step around a lot of this stuff is just it's a nightmare.
There's been a
You
couple
know,
episodes where we get on here and I'm just like, all right, let's get everything out of the way first, okay? And I might have because I've had podcasts with 3, 4, 5 guys on from a team. We're all talking in here. We'll just say all the bad words we can, faggot, shit, cunt, everything,
yeah,
like just get it out of the way, okay?
all the
Fuck it,
buzzwords.
let's
Yeah,
go.
yep, yep.
So,
Yeah, I got kicked out of a TikTok live because somebody said they said something. Oh, they asked me about a piece of gear on a TikTok live, and I said, "Nah, that's gay." And they immediately kicked me off. I was like, "You got to be shitting me! How'd they even hear
holy
that?"
shit.
Yeah, it was immediate. It was immediate. I couldn't even believe it. It's like you guys are on it. Either that or your AI is fantastic. I don't know.
Right.
But I was like, you got to be kidding. So, yeah, you got to be really careful over there. But
It's
yet, people can
wild.
comment on my videos some wild stuff, and it's fine, I guess. I don't
Isn't
know.
that weird? Yeah.
Yeah.
I think that's the biggest thing, honestly. And I've had this conversation with a lot of people on here, is the censorship thing since it started. The biggest gripe that we have is that they don't stay consistent. So we've
Mhm.
seen this with politics, we've seen this with the left and right, we've seen
Oh,
this with,
for sure.
it is heavily one-sided. And
Oh, yeah.
so one side can say whatever they want, can call for somebody to kill somebody, because of their ideological beliefs. But the other side says one little, just a tiny like, hey, oh, okay, gay, and then
Oh, yeah.
your fucking band and your like all kind of shit shuts down.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's very
Well, so
yeah,
you're on TikTok. You've seen some videos. You know the older millennial, right?
yeah.
Okay, so the older millennial, he's always battling with these leftist guys like Harry Sisson and all them.
Oh yeah.
He does nothing different than Harry Sisson. He does nothing different
No.
than the whatever that ginger guy name is. He does nothing different, but he just had his platform taken down. And the only difference is he's a Republican.
Yeah.
That is the only difference.
Yep.
So it's just insane what they will allow to go for the other side. But no, it's very obvious. They don't even try to hide it at this point.
Right.
Absolutely insane.
Yeah, it is wild. That's like I said, that's the biggest frustration is the inconsistency. In fact, when one of the things that happened with YouTube was a lot of guys were posting. They've had YouTube channels for years on for airsoft, whatever. Friends of mine, when that censorship happened back in early 2020, and that terms of service changed, they started putting this long, like 2-minute disclaimer on the front of their videos, okay, to start
Mm-hmm.
their airsoft video. And it might be just a gameplay video or um, an unboxing, anything to do with their channel. And they're like, these are fake guns. These are airsoft guns. These are not real guns. Blah, 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 blah. And I'm like, bro, that's not what it says in the terms of service. Your disclaimer is not helping. And they're like,
Hmm.
well, when I put it on there, it seems like it doesn't get taken down as much, whatever. I'm like, I'm just saying, bro, that's not, they're
Oh yeah,
very inconsistent. So
very day to
there's
day
a,
with them.
there's an agenda.
Oh,
And
for sure.
I think, I've said it on here before, but I really think that the airsoft community, uh, airsoft sport in general attracts like the 13, 14, 15-year olds. Okay. Because they see these cool looking guns. They look real. They can go out and shoot each other with them. It's like paintball. I
Hmm.
mean, it's fun. Okay.
Oh, and they're all playing Call of Duty. So
Yeah. And right. So let's get out of
yep.
the house. Let's go do this and we'll blast each other. It's fun. Run around the yard, the woods, whatever. So, and then they start getting into that community. They get into, maybe they find your channel and they see all this gear and they're like, I want some of that. And then
Oh
they
yeah.
really want to start training like real, right? Like real tactics. And so I think personally, I'm speculating, but that these powers that be and all this social media stuff, they don't want the younger generation
Oh yeah.
getting hot and heavy on gear, tactics, and guns.
Yeah, they
And
want them worried
so,
about freaking transgender abortions and whatnot. Or, I mean,
exactly.
all the politics you want to throw at it, but I mean,
Uh-huh.
that kind of stuff is. We didn't talk about that when I was young, and I'm not that old. I'm only 32.
Yeah.
But that seems to be heavily where these kids are heading. It's like,
Yeah.
I hate it. I hate to see it. I hate to see it.
Yeah.
It's
Absolutely.
making the youth way weaker than they used to be.
Right.
To the point where they can't even take judgment anymore, which is absolutely
Take
insane.
judgment. They can't speak without being
Yeah,
afraid of saying the wrong word. Um,
exactly.
I'm like, dude, you come on here. You can just tell your story and it's fine. Okay. Just don't give into that shit and
Hmm.
it'll be fine. Like you can, I got made fun of when I was in school. Like, so what? Okay.
Yep.
Big deal. Just get
Made
over
me
it.
a lot tougher, that's for sure.
No shit, right? It
Yeah.
does. Yeah.
That's why one of my videos was like, please bring back bullying. Please bring it back. We need it more than ever.
I got bullied so bad. Like, I'm not talking about I was born in 70. Okay. So I'm 54. Uh, and when I was about 8, 9, and 10, somewhere around that age, I was two kids, older kids. I don't know. They beat the shit out of me.
Hmm.
Not every day after school, but probably once a week, twice a week. I
Enough.
was terrified. And I'm
Yeah.
talking about like punching me in the face, punch me in the stomach, where you lose your air and, get the wind
Hmm.
knocked out of you, taking my book bag and dumping my books and papers out in the street. And I was terrified, bro. And that's actually what made me go in the Marine Corps. Okay. So I love my bullies. It made me who I am today.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I'm all for, I've said it numerous times on here. Like, if you had bullies, man, thank them. Okay. If you made
It
it through
builds
that,
character.
yeah, it does. It really
Well,
does.
and here's the thing for any younger folks that might be watching this at some point, your bully is probably really not doing great in life now. If
No,
it's any consolation, they're probably doing really bad in life. But they made you a better person, so that's
right.
for sure. I had
Yeah.
maybe two, three guys that would always give me a lot of shit back in high school, but we got into our fights, and but yeah, now we're good friends, which is weird. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, it's odd, but yeah, no, I think it's definitely something that's necessary in society just to toughen people up, yeah, especially the men. Like, these young kids they're just way softer than they used to be. Like even my family, like the younger generation, I just tell that there's
Yeah.
they're not quite used to it like we were, but
Well,
it was even worse back in your day. I can tell you that.
speaking of your family and stuff, do you have siblings or
I do, yeah.
you're
So
close?
I'm one of three. I've got an older sister, an older brother, and I'm yeah, I'm technically four. I got a half brother, but
Okay.
yeah, I'm kind of the middle one. So,
Yeah.
yeah, born and
They all
raised in
know
Maryland.
you're they all know you're into this gear stuff.
A couple of them we don't talk a ton. My sister, she knows I'm really into it. My younger brother, he knows I'm into it pretty good. But yeah, a couple of them we don't speak too much anymore. But the other ones know I'm in a fanatic, a firearm fanatic. My sister, she's the proudest one of it. She'll show my videos to people that I've never met. She's like, that's
Yeah.
my brother. So,
Oh,
and
that's cool.
my father, he's a physician's assistant. He has his own practice, so he's over there showing his people coming in for doctor's appointments. Like, yeah, this is my son. I'm like, oh my god, please don't do that.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
cool though, man. Oh, I love that. No, that's
yeah,
awesome, man. That's
yeah.
yeah. I love when families are proud of, that kind of stuff. Show
Oh
it
yeah.
off.
My dad's just happy I'm not doing it at his house anymore. 'Cause when I was younger, I would make videos all the time, and I would occasionally break something making a video, and he really didn't like that all that much. So he's just happy I'm doing it on my own dime nowadays.
Right.
Yeah.
I hear that. Yeah, so my wife and I have 5 children, 7 grandchildren,
Oh wow.
and we started kind of young. We got married. I was still in the military, and we met in high school, actually, my wife and I. And it's been a rough road. I mean, it's not, long-term relationships are not easy,
No, never.
and and they're not all smooth and getting along all the time. But
Yep.
um, we somebody, all of our kids are moved out, okay, and somebody asked us, one of our friends, how do you get your kids to move out? I'm like, don't make it fun at home. Like, be an
Yeah.
asshole. So,
Exactly. Yep.
just enough where you don't want to push them away forever. But hey, man, like, got to make it a little tough here. All right. I
Oh
made
yeah.
them do chores. I made them do all kind of shit. I'm asking them to do this, do that, and they're
Hmm.
like, fuck this, man. I got to get my own place. I'm like, yep.
Yeah. Exactly. Now I know what my dad was doing, and it just clicked just now. That's 100% what he was doing.
Absolutely.
I'm more or less trying to get away from my stepmothers, but that's a whole other
Oh,
conversation.
yeah.
But yeah, no, I see a lot of these kids now, and it's like they just don't even want to move out. I'm like, how do you want to live with your parents? Like,
Yeah.
I want to be
Right.
able to do what I want.
Yeah.
Mm.
Yeah. Walk around the house naked. Okay. Come on.
Oh yeah,
You can't do
that's
that.
the whole reason I moved out. The entire reason.
I know,
Oh
right? I'm
Lord.
making coffee while I'm naked. I'm, whatever, trying to wake up. I'm like, yeah, this is great, man. I love when the kids are gone, but
Yeah.
we have four of them live close to us here in South Carolina, in the upstate, which is we're about an hour south of the North Carolina border in
Okay.
Greenville, South Carolina area. And so four of them live close to us, and then our daughter lives in Utah.
Oh
She
wow.
went in the Air Force after high school, met her husband in the Air Force. They both spent 4 years in there, and then he got a job out at Salt Lake City Airport.
Hmm.
And it's a beautiful area out there. We've been out there a
About
few
to say,
times to
yeah.
visit. So pretty, dude.
Yeah.
We
I like East
almost,
Coast and all, but yeah, out west
yeah,
is
same.
beautiful.
I love South Carolina. I really love the heat most of the time. Not the blistering, 100
Right.
degrees and 90% humidity, uh, but yeah, I really love the South Carolina weather and the area. But the when we went to visit out there the first time, we were look we really started looking at places like in Wyoming that were real
Oh
close to
yeah.
the border because land was cheap. They have great like freedom laws, gun
Oh
laws
yeah.
and stuff. I mean, I was like, dude, we should move out here. It's so
And plus, it's
pretty.
not quite as flat as it is around here. I mean, like
Yeah.
East Coast is terribly flat. You can get on a chair and see the whole, whole Eastern Shore. It's awful, awful.
It's funny. Have you ever thought
Yeah,
about moving out of Maryland, or do you like the
I
snow? Do you
have.
like cold? Okay.
I have thought about it. I mean, I like Florida. We go there, me and my wife, quite a bit. I love Florida. We go down to like Pinellas County, like St. Pete area, quite a bit.
Oh yeah.
We thought about moving down south. So that'll probably be in the next few years. But if I had unlimited funds and didn't need to worry about a job, I'd definitely be out west somewhere.
Yeah.
That's for sure. Plus, if that super volcano blows up, I mean, we ain't got nothing to worry about, immediate. Ain't got to
That's
survive
true.
that mess.
I know, right? Like, I want to be as
Yeah.
close to that thing as possible if you're going to be in that area. I don't want to be
Yeah.
on the outskirts where I'm going to get, all the backlash. I just go.
Suffocate.
Okay,
Yeah.
done.
Just let me burn up immediately. I don't have
Yeah.
to worry about it. Like, I'm not trying to breathe all that ash in. Check me out.
That
Yeah.
scene in Terminator 2 where hanging onto the fence and
Yeah.
then just
Yeah.
the heat wave just got, yep,
Yeah.
there we go. I'm good. Okay.
Exactly. Just take me out. I'm not
All
trying to
right.
survive after that.
No shit, dude.
Uh, but yeah, eventually Florida. That's like maybe the 5 year goal, something like that. So we're heading there slowly but surely.
Did you have a lot of snow and stuff growing up? Did you get into snow sports at all?
We don't have a lot up here, to be honest. I
Okay.
mean, this part of Maryland that I'm in, it's there's not a lot going on. We've got very middle of the road weather. In
Hmm.
the summer, it gets pretty hot. The winter gets kind of cold. It's honestly probably one of the better places to live as far as not extreme temperature ranges.
Yeah.
But yeah, we don't get a ton of snow up here.
Well, did you have any other hobbies besides guns?
So I like well, I mean, it kind of still all goes back into guns, but I like photography a little bit. I'll take pictures here and there, just random stuff. Um, Movie reviews, though, if I had another hobby, I'm just very into film. I love movies, specifically the horror genre.
Okay.
That's a big one for me. But yeah, as far as hobbies go, now that you say it, I don't have that many.
Yeah.
Very expensive gun hobby, and I like to spend a lot of money on movies. If drinking beer is a hobby, that's also a big
Right.
one. It might be a hobby.
Oh, dude, for so many years, my kids were like, I don't think you have blood in your veins. Like all you do is drink beer. My cousin sent me my whole personal Instagram before I started this one for the airsoft thing. My personal one, almost every single post, I had a beer in my hand.
Yeah.
And my cousin up in Ohio posted a comment on there one time, like, dude, do you ever not have a beer in your hand? I was like, just when I'm at work. That's it.
Look, you got to have that one after work. It's been a long day.
Uh-huh.
You got to have your weekend beer. Just because you've had a long week. So it may be a problem. I don't know, but I'm not ready to admit it otherwise.
Right. Well, the
That and
bad part was
cigars, good
cigars.
cigars.
Okay.
Yeah,
What got
I'm
you
a
into
big
that?
Deadwood tobacco. I don't know if you're into cigars, but Deadwood tobacco has probably some of the best cigars ever made, without a
Really?
doubt. Yeah, and I've tried a lot at this point.
Deadwood?
Yep, Deadwood tobacco, specifically like their Fat Bottom Betty, Sweet Jane. Like, they're just such good cigars.
Hmm.
Easy
I'm looking up.
smoking, good sit back and relax kind of cigar.
Okay. This is yeah, I just looked up their website actually.
Yeah,
I'm gonna share it the
yeah, very
screen real
good stuff.
quick. Huh. So my son, I've never been too much into cigars, just, special occasions like in the military, we have certain things, we'll break out cigars, obviously the old style, old school stuff with somebody's having a kid,
Oh yeah,
that kind of shit. But my sons, who actually were on the channel that I was talking about, two of my sons, they're big into it still. They're big into it.
yeah.
They know all the brands, they know all these things. We have well, a handful of cigar shops here in the Greenville area that
Hmm.
I don't know what they're called, but you go to them and they serve alcohol. They have where you can sit in a back room. It's quiet. It's like really plush kind
Oh
of.
yeah,
It's like one of those things, dark wood, right? Maybe
yep,
cherry tables or whatever kind of things. And they have all the special cigar cutting tools and the torches. And they learned how to smoke a cigar. Like you know, you light it first without sucking it in kind of thing.
yep.
You don't light it like a cigarette, all that. They were teaching me all kind of shit. I'm like, okay, I don't know, man.
Oh, there's a lot to it, believe it or not. Like, I had no idea. I thought you just light the damn thing up and smoke it. When I first started getting into cigars, but then you got your different ways to cut it. So you got your V notch, you got your punch, you got all kinds of ways to smoke a cigar. And I'm like, I'm not that into it. I'm not gonna go crazy with it. I just enjoy smoking them from time to time. Yeah,
Yeah,
like that first one right there. That's a really good one. I love that one.
this one here.
Yeah, that's a very good cigar. You got everything from a quick cigar to a cigar you'll probably be smoking on all day, with this line right here.
I mean, that's wild, bro. Yeah.
But
Yeah,
they're sweet. They're kind of like a sweet cigar,
yeah,
so they're really good, especially for like first time people smoking cigars. It's perfect for them.
yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I always get the benefit from them learning new things because they'll bring it over. Like, hey,
Yeah,
Dad, you got to try this out. I'm like, all right, let's try it. So
right. Yeah,
it's great,
learn something new every day.
right? Yeah, you can get
But yeah,
crazy with cigar stuff, man. It's
oh, easy. It gets expensive too.
I was gonna say that's yeah, another expensive hobby if you
Oh
do
yeah,
it. Because they started out when they first got into it, they like most guys, they'll get into it, into something new, and they go kind of balls to the wall. So they're all into it. They want to learn everything about it. And so they were going like every weekend to one of these cigar shops, and they were dropping a shit ton of money
oh yeah,
because they're looking around. It's like when you go to a store, it's like if you go grocery shopping hungry, So they go and they're into cigar smoking. They're like,
Yeah,
oh man, this is cool and this is cool. And they come home with this box, a humidor thing, and it's got all kind of space age features, and it's
yeah.
like, holy shit, bro! They're dropping 300-400 bucks on all this stuff, and
Oh, it's nothing. It's nothing to
uh-huh,
drop $100 per visit. You go there, grab a few cigars, and you're in for 100. So, it's insane. Now, I don't have a crazy humidor set up. I've got a cedar box with a thermometer on it. That's pretty much
yeah,
it. So I didn't go too crazy with it.
yeah.
But yeah, it's nothing, man. When I first got into it, I was just kind of seeing what I liked, and it was nothing to go in there and drop a couple $100.
Do you guys have a good cigar shop close to you?
We have a few. We have a place called Senior Cigars. It's pretty good. That's the one I'll go to mostly. They have a massive selection, but we for the area we've got a ton around where I'm at, and
That's cool.
only a couple lounges, believe it or not, which is kind of
Gotcha.
depressing. But BYOB.
Yeah, yeah. That's becoming. I think it's becoming more popular here with some of these areas where you can actually go in like a lounge and sit and hang out, and instead
Mm-hmm.
of just the storefront.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
I mean, a lot of dudes go there to get away from their wives for a few minutes too. So they've always got sports up on the TV. They'll smoke a cigar. They'll bring a beer over there and just chill out for a bit. So
Absolutely.
yeah, I don't blame them.
No, it's important, man. It's important
Yeah.
when you're in a relationship to have your time together and time apart and still have friends and still do things, whatever. I mean, even
Oh,
if,
for sure.
you get along great, it's you gotta have a break here and there. It changes it up.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Me and my wife been together for going on 18 years. We also met in high school, so
Nice.
yeah, we've been through the roller coaster.
Oh yeah.
Probably still a few more things to hit before the end of it. I'm sure. Yeah, it's worth it. It's worth it having your best friends.
It is. It really
Yeah.
is, man. It's important too. It's relationships is what we started telling our kids too and teaching our kids over the last year is as they start having their own kids. Relationships are some of the most important things you're going to have on this in your life on this earth. Okay, like they're the most long lasting, uh, most rewarding for both sides, and it's the biggest thing you can put your time and effort into our
Yep.
relationships with your friends and family. So
Yep.
you know,
At this point, I'm just trying to collect people that are going to say nice things at my funeral. All right, that's it. That's the whole point at this point. Like, just say I was a good dude or something. Say I was such a fun guy. Like
I really loved your helmet and night vision. Okay.
exactly. Now, when's the will? Look, I had a minor surgery like last year, and all my buddies were like, "So you have a will going, right?" And I was like, "No, I don't. But why?" And they were all like picking the items that they want if I die during surgery. I was like, "Okay, fair enough.
Oh,
I
that's
can tell we're
awesome.
good friends if that's what we're talking about."
Right. That's
Yeah,
hilarious.
I thought I'm going to burn it all just to spite them. It's getting cremated with me. Y'all shouldn't have opened your mouth.
Oh shit.
Yeah.
That's funny, man.
But yeah, I got a good crew of friends. We all are kind of into the same thing. We fell into it together, so we got a few guys. We're all running around with nods and thermals and gear at this point, so we have a lot of fun.
Do you guys compare gear and stuff and
We do, yeah.
brands?
So basically, I'm kind of the worst one about it. I think in my friend group, like I would say I'm not a snob, but
Yeah.
kind of.
Hmm.
But when they're bringing home, like I've got one guy who had a bunch of red parts on his AR, and I've given him so much shit about it. And he finally had everything all changed out to flat dark earth. And I was like, "See, we're making progress, buddy." So
There
I'll
you
give him a
go.
lot of shit, but we do all compare a little bit. But I do tend to be the worst when it comes to being critical of them. Please don't
What,
buy insert Amazon product here.
say, do you have recommendations for like a plate carrier or
Look, I have stumbled across a company, and if we're talking about like entry level, just kind of starting out for people, this company called Ace Tac. It's a relatively new company. I think they've only been out for a few years, but I've got their chest rigs, I've got their plate carriers, multiple of each, and I love them for the money. I do not think you can beat them. Plus, they come in woodland camo, which is the best there is. So, but that would be my recommendation for for kind of like an entry level. If you don't want to spend money on a Cry JPC or something like that, they have everything you want, nothing you don't need, and they work pretty good. Now, I've not gotten blown up in one, so I don't know how good it's going to do with that. But running around on the flat range, not getting shot at, they do really well for that. And
Mm,
they might get a little dirty, but that's about it. But definitely don't sleep on Ace Tech.
Ace Tac. Nice.
Yeah,
Now, you mentioned camo. That's a huge thing in airsoft. Dude, there's a lot of guys that are, I mean, they have all kind of gear sets with all different kinds of camos. Okay. I mean, I never
the
knew
money they
people could
spend.
get into so much different style of camo before. It was crazy.
Oh yeah, yeah. There's this one guy. I'm trying to remember his name, but I follow him on TikTok. But he's got like Vietnam, a full Vietnam rig. He's got like Marsoc rigs. He's got like Delta Force. Like he's got everything you could want, but he's got all this money in just the outfits alone, and the load bearing vest, the plate carriers, and all that. I'm like, how much money do you have in this? Like, I spend a lot of money, but these guys are spending a lot of money. It's insane, but it's awesome. I'm so jealous of it.
Yeah, I went
Nothing
to
goes harder than Vietnam rigs. I don't. That's so
oh, those
cool.
look awesome.
Yeah, like the old like LBV, vest and all
Hmm.
that. So cool. Such a. It was a bad time for US, but such a cool time for like firearms and
Oh
gear and
yeah,
all that.
absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, we had one of the guys I had on from the UK. He that's his thing is he was always, turned on by the Vietnam era gear,
yeah,
American troop gear and stuff and the camo and the uniforms and that kind of thing. And that's what he ran most of the time on a lot of his skirmishes and stuff he would run in the UK was the Vietnam stuff. Another one, big one
yeah.
is World War II, man. World War II,
Oh hell yeah, man.
holy cow. People have huge get-ups with that, with all the
Yeah,
original type of thing. And, you know,
yeah. It's insane. I won't buy the actual like gear because I just know I'll never actually practically use it.
yeah.
But the firearms, I collect like World War II era firearms. So right now I'm on a World War II sniper kick.
Ooh,
So like the Mosin PU.
yeah.
Let's see. I've got a Springfield 1903 A4. Uh, Pretty much all like the DMR sniper rifles. I'm trying to chase them all down, but some of them are extremely expensive. Very difficult to get a hold of.
Yeah, we had my oldest son, it's about your age. He he bought all my kids are into well, all my boys, all three of my boys are into guns. Matter of fact, they just bought me. Here, I'm going to show it off. Let me turn off my background here. They went in together and bought me a new pistol, 9 mil,
Mm-hmm.
Smith and Wesson Shield,
No, okay.
and it's a Smith and Wesson Shield EZ. So
Yeah, yeah.
it's the slide is actually one I can actually function, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, my grip strength is not very good since
Right, right.
my paralysis thing. So I still have a lot of like neuropathy things. So, but they just bought me this recently because in July I was diagnosed with cancer, and
No, gee.
I just started my first chemo treatment Thursday, like 3 days ago.
Dear Lord.
And yeah, so actually, to be honest, man, we set this up last night. I was still feeling decent,
Yeah.
and or yesterday, whatever. And today, I felt like shit, bro. And I was like, okay, I'm gonna have to. I hope I don't have to cancel because we had set something up before and things
Yeah.
come up,
I
and
had
it
to
which
cancel that time.
yeah, and it does happen, man. It really does. I'm
Yeah.
I'm very flexible with this. I don't care if we have to reschedule or whatever. It's no big deal. I understand people have lives and something happens or whatever. So. But yeah, they just got me this, and then here, I'll show you. Take this off. So this wall, so there's a Mosin right there.
Oh, yep, yep, yep.
So he bought that, and then that one is the same one, but it's a an
Oh, the
Archangel.
Archangel.
Yeah. So he swapped it out. I have the original wood one in the closet behind me. So
Mm-hmm.
he bought so Palmetto State Armory, which is they have a store real here in South Carolina where they're from.
Yeah,
Uh,
I've somehow just never gone on my way to Florida. I really need
yeah.
to change that.
Yeah, they're pretty cool, man. You can actually they have a range in there that you can rent a 240 Bravo and shoot full auto
Yeah,
in there if you want to try it out.
yeah.
So yeah, it's pretty cool in there. But he bought a set of those. This is back when Trump was in office, okay? The first time, obviously a long
Hmm.
time ago. And when ammo prices were low, gun prices were still low, like all that stuff was booming, okay? Um, and he bought us, they had a set, those two, most of the guns, with the original cleaning kits, okay? With the original oil cans, which we still have,
Yeah.
for like 182 bucks for both.
Oh yeah, you're not getting that deal anymore.
It was insane.
Yeah,
And we've taken
the
these to the
good
range.
old
They
days.
shoot great. One of them, the extractor snapped. Okay, it broke. We found a new one, or replacement, put it in, no big deal. Okay, and then he bought that Archangel kit for it, and it's pretty badass, man. I love shooting those things.
Yeah,
I like long guns, like that.
yeah, same. Yeah,
Hmm.
that's probably my biggest passion, specifically inside the gun space, would be more long range type stuff.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's why I'm trying. I'm slowly but surely taking the Mosin and converting it to more of a PU style, because trying to find one that's already set up like that's been kind of difficult. So,
yeah.
but yeah, we're getting there slowly but surely. Now, some of them, like, people do a lot of work to these things. I don't know. I mean, you've probably been on YouTube looking them up, and some of these guys, I mean, they make some pretty cool rifles out of them. They're
They
doing
really
some good
do.
work with them too, man. So you
Yeah.
don't sleep on the old stuff.
Yeah, for real. I mean, these
Yeah.
things last forever, bro. They
Oh
shoot
yeah.
and shoot and shoot, and they're very consistent. These things, both of these are super accurate.
Mm-hmm.
It's just amazing how accurate they are after all these years. And
Oh yeah.
yeah, I mean, it's well
There's
made.
even a company that's I don't know if they've made them yet or they're about to make them or something, but they're actually making the original suppressors that were made for the most PU sniper rifles.
Okay.
If I can come up with it, I'll message you on Instagram. I can't remember the name of the company, but they're actually making the old school suppressors for them. They basically just lock in on the front sight. So cool.
Yeah.
Now
Probably
they're going to be a little pricey.
where the bayonet thing goes in or whatever. Okay.
Yep. Yep. It basically just, it's notched out. You just put it on, spin it over the front sight, and it locks right on. I was like, man,
That's awesome.
I kind of want one of those. Pretty much anything with a suppressor is pretty badass, but
Right.
you know,
Yeah, he actually built a which I didn't show it on the camera here, but he's got one up at the top there that's he built a 50 Beowulf. And that thing
oh yeah,
is fun as hell to shoot, man. It's like a 50 it's a 50 caliber um modified rifle slash pistol. I mean, it looks like a pistol round, but real big.
yeah,
And these things, he's got a all kind of cool red accents on it, for the charging handle and the mag release and all that kind of stuff. But we took this to the range. We actually started one of the YouTube channels I started after the airsoft one was Trifecta Steel is what we called it. I think
mm-hmm.
we have, I don't know, 5 videos up or something, because as soon as we started it, that's when presidency changed and ammo prices went nuts. And we were
Yeah,
like, nope, we're saving all our ammo because we have a lot of ammo. And you go through a lot when you're trying to make gun
oh, yeah,
videos.
yeah,
And
for sure.
so we saved it, but we made a few. And the first time we took this Beowulf to the range, we were shooting. I was like, whoa. And he's got a really deep cut butt plate on there. Okay. It's synthetic, stock, whatever, but it's not rubber. It's
Yeah,
hard plastic. And this thing is checkered like
bruised
really
up.
deep. Bro, it will hurt you. Okay.
Yeah, I bet.
But it is fun to shoot. It is
Yeah.
so fun to shoot.
Well, one of my brothers, he had built a 458 SOCOM AR at one point, and that thing kicked like a mule. So I can only imagine what 50 Beowulf feels
Yeah.
like. Jeez.
Yeah. It's one of those where when you go to the range, people stop what they're doing and look down like, what the hell was that?
Yeah, a little bit jealous. That's what it is.
Right?
Yeah. So I've not delved too much into like oddball caliber stuff. Like, I've got
Yeah.
my Milsurp rifles, but I haven't gotten too oddball. The only, I would say, probably the oddest thing that I have. It's not really that odd, but I don't get to shoot it all that much. It's a 50 caliber. I say sniper rifle. It's meant for long range, but I mean, you should see the suppressor on this thing.
You got a 50?
Yeah, I got a 50. I mean, shoot, I'll go grab it if you want.
Yeah, get it, bro. Come
Yeah.
on. Let's go.
Look, this itself is the suppressor.
Good God. What is that, 2 feet?
It's huge. It's massive. And I don't know if you can see that. Is that in frame?
Holy shit, dude. That is
So
awesome.
with the suppressor on this thing, it's nuts. I mean, this thing is huge, and it weighs a ton.
I'm sure.
But
Oh
I
my
will say,
God.
with the suppressor on it, this is probably one of my quietest guns, which makes no sense because
That's crazy.
oh yeah, it's a McCutcheon MF50. I got it for a trade-in. Basically, how it worked out, my wife used to work in a gun shop, and we had a Desert Eagle that we had bought. She had bought me for my birthday one year,
Love
and
those.
didn't get a lot of use. It was more or less a paperweight. It's a
Sure.
Desert Eagle.
Yeah.
And she messaged me one day, and she was like, "Hey, do you want a 50 cal?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, yeah, absolutely." Thought she was playing with me. She was like, "No, do you want a 50 cal?" I was like, "I mean, yeah, but what's the rule? I mean, what are we doing?" She's like, "Yeah, let's just trade in the Desert Eagle and we'll get a 50 cal." I'm like, "What kind of 50 cal?" So she sent me a picture. I was like, "Send it. Let's do it. Let's do it right now." And I've loved this thing ever since.
Oh my God. That is a good trade-off, bro.
Oh yeah, dude, absolutely. And then I bought that suppressor for it shortly after. So,
Yeah.
but it's a fun
Holy
gun.
shit. Yeah.
We took it to a local farm, and we had like this half-inch thick steel like stock, and we shot it, and it cracked this like thick piece of steel right down the middle. It was the craziest thing. So yeah, it's got a lot of power. I'm afraid to shoot it sometimes, if I'm being honest. But yeah,
That
that's
is
probably
crazy.
my prized possession. It's my favorite gun. Out of all the things that I own, that's probably one of my favorite.
So when you buy ammo for that, what is it like? What does it come in a box of 10 or something?
Um,
I mean, those things are
so
huge.
I think the most I've spent on a box of ammo was probably like $55 a box. Now I happen to luck out quite a bit because my one of my dad's patients came in and was just casually talking about firearms, and he just happened to have like 200 rounds of 50 cal for sale,
Shit.
and I got it for a steal. It was all brand new American Eagle 50 cal, and I was like, cool, I'll sit on this for a little while. We're good.
Yeah.
So I'm rich with 50 cal at the moment, and mostly because
That's
I can't
awesome.
shoot it all that much. I've got one range that I can shoot it on, like 4 times a year. So until I get some private property. But
Dude,
yeah, she's
that's
fun.
amazing.
I'll
Hey,
have to
you're
send
gonna
you.
be like when shit hits the fan, that is gonna be your trading currency, bro. Big time. You're gonna be the
What
richest
time
guy
now? Yeah,
in your
yeah.
area.
Just here, I'll trade you some 50 cows here and there. Look, that is my if Russians or Chinese people start parachuting, like, it's just gonna be a it's gonna be a duck shoot or whatever they call it.
Yeah, duck hunt. The
Yeah,
yeah, that's yeah, like Red Dawn.
yeah, exactly. The
Unfortunately,
internet.
it's not gonna be that simple. It's
Oh
we're
yeah.
getting invaded from within,
Oh, for sure. Yeah, they're probably
for
already next door to
years.
where you live.
Exactly.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Uh-huh.
Which I mean, if I was the other side, that's probably the smartest way to do
Well, it's that
it.
the the art of war, Sun Tzu, which I have mixed feelings on because I like the old style of I like to know where people stand. I hate
Mhm.
passive aggressive. I can't stand when somebody is afraid to say what they believe in or the two-faced kind of people. I can't stand that shit. And that's really what
Yeah.
the art of war is, kind of a major tactic that they use. And I feel like that's what the left politicians use for like the last 30 years.
Oh yeah.
And it's just I'm gonna shake your hand and stab you in the back. And
Oh
I'm
yeah.
not down with that, man. Not down with that
Yeah.
shit.
There was something I was watching a while back, but it was basically like the communist handbook. I can't remember where it was, or I couldn't even quote, the book that he was referencing. But basically, all of it was what's happening right now. What you see the left doing is part of that playbook.
Hmm.
Is And I think it all stemmed from something, from the Cold War era,
Yeah.
when we were really,
Big into
the communist
spies.
stuff was, I don't know, but
Yeah.
it was something around then. It was an interview from back then how they would take over America. They wouldn't just come in guns blazing. It'd be a slow
Hmm.
degradation of our society over time, and that's 100% what's going on. Like,
Absolutely.
I mean, just in the past, like 10 years, you can see a massive difference.
Huge
It's
change.
been downhill. I just, it's crazy to see how quick it's happening. But I, I don't want to say I'm a conspiracy theorist, but I kind of am at the same time because
Sure.
a lot of times these conspiracies come true, as we've seen play out time and
Yep.
time again. P Diddy, you know who I'm talking about. But like, you see a lot of that stuff happening, and you're like, oh, that would have, I don't know, but it's just
We
steady.
just watched that thing, that hour and a half movie on it last night, my wife and I.
Oh, the downfall of
The
Diddy or something like
Downfall.
that.
Yeah, yeah, from
Yeah, I've
TMZ.
yet to watch it. Yeah,
Yeah,
but if you start looking at all that, a lot of other stuff starts making sense.
sure.
You know, I couldn't cite all of them, but just like mysterious deaths from other celebrities and all that kind of stuff. It's like it makes you think. Like you can't prove it, we'll never know.
No.
But it's definitely makes you think for sure what's really happening here.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
the one conspiracy theory that I know for a fact is true is Hollywood and you know upper echelon politicians. They all got something going on. You don't have that much power, and you know
Yeah,
uh, not think you can get away with everything. But
absolutely.
that's neither here nor there.
Yeah, no,
That's
I
another
agree.
podcast.
Yeah, I know, right? Yeah. Well, we've talked about conspiracy stuff on here as well, and that's
Yeah.
it comes up, and a lot of people are. A lot of people are critical thinkers, and now they're named conspiracy theorists because
Oh
you
yeah.
look at stories and you take pieces of information from here and there from all these different things, and you go and you question. And
Yeah.
oh, you're a conspiracy theorist? Like, bro, no, I'm looking at the information that's presented, and it doesn't line up. Like when you want
Oh
to
yeah.
ask questions about certain things, and most people, man, they're just really they don't want to talk about it. They want to have their head in the sand and ignore it.
Oh yeah. Yep. They want to believe that the world they live in could not be that corrupt, but
You
you
mean
know,
there's bad people out there?
and they're running our country. No, that could never happen. I've never seen a bad politician.
Oh,
Insane.
dude, when money is an incentive to, I
Uh,
mean, bro, you're getting on, sketchy ground.
yeah. Look, money and power.
Yeah,
When you have enough money to do whatever you want, and you have enough power to do whatever you want,
yeah,
uh, typically shitty humans are gonna try to see how far they could take that.
yeah.
And let's be honest, a lot of people that are actually in high standing places in their lives, they did not get there by doing good favors for the world.
No,
Um,
or
you
being
know,
stand up, upfront kind of people.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. You don't get rich doing that, not usually.
yep.
But yeah, it's definitely a rabbit hole that I've gone down, and then at some point I just get burnt out and I go back to drinking. So
Yeah, exactly. I've done the same thing, bro.
yeah,
So many times. But yeah, when you start realizing the evil that's involved, right? The satanic kind of stuff that is in there as well,
mm-hmm.
where it's very obvious, right?
Oh yeah,
And they go, "Oh, what? Oh, we're just playing. That's just for show." Like, bro,
yeah.
give me a fucking break now. Come on.
Get out of here. Yeah, it's disgusting, man.
Yeah,
But it's all over. It's all over Hollywood. It's all over
yeah,
not just our government. This is every government. I would venture to
right.
say
Oh,
they're
absolutely.
all crooked. They're all in on it somehow. I think,
Yep.
but
Well,
ooh,
let me ask you this about conspiracy theories, okay? It's a heavy one. I don't know if you watch football at all, but NFL, rigged or not rigged?
I've got my thoughts. I'm not a big sports guy,
Yeah.
but I do think that a lot of these uh, sports things are rigged to some extent. Like football, that's the biggest one.
Hmm.
I feel like that one probably is rigged. I don't know how to explain it. I don't even know the rules all that well to even say, but
Yeah.
I do believe they are. Because I
I'm
mean,
sure you've
look
seen
at
those
the money
videos.
that's made off of bets.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, it's
like
for
it's
Vegas,
got to
man.
be.
They're
Yeah, I
covering
mean,
the spread.
so I mean, it's got to be rigged to a certain extent, or at least there's somebody in there that's edging it towards one way or the other. I think.
Hmm.
Like I think it's happening, but again, it comes down to money. When there's that kind of money at stake,
Yep.
somebody wants to profit off of
That's
it.
right.
without a doubt. So yeah, I would say yes.
Yeah, it's some of the probably the last 2 years or 2 seasons have been probably the biggest eye-opening ones for NFL because people are recording these games. They're either on their phones or uh, they're showing a replay and they'll get up, they'll put their phone up to the TV real quick and record it from a replay, like some bullshit call or something, that's super obvious. Like last season, Mahomes was running with the ball. They were already winning. KC was already winning the game, whoever they were playing, I can't remember. But no one's around him. He took off with the ball, right? And there's like less than 30 seconds left in the game. I forget, maybe less than a minute, I'm not sure. But no one's around him. He's on the 2 yard line and he slides. He doesn't run into the end zone.
Yeah,
And everyone was like, "What the fuck? What what was that?" And this happened more than once with other
yeah.
teams as well. So it's things like that happen. You're like, okay, that's fucking obvious, bro.
Oh yeah, there's some
He's got an
insider
earpiece
stuff
like,
going on there too.
don't score, don't score. We got to cover the spread,
Yeah. Well, shoot, look at Nancy Pelosi. I mean, like you talk about insider stuff. You know, he's probably on the ground floor making those shitty plays just because he's probably got something at stake too,
Yep.
or at least his coach does. Somebody who's handling him. Oh shoot, even the owners. But
Yeah.
look at Nancy Pelosi. There was a guy who started doing all of his stock trades based on what she did, and he started making money in the stock market. So
Yeah.
it's like, she knows what she's doing, but she'll never get called out for it.
No.
So that
Oh
being
no,
the
no,
case, I've started doing
those
mine. Yeah.
politicians will put people in jail for doing the
Oh
same
yeah,
thing that they're doing. The
exactly.
hypocrite.
100%. They
Yeah.
all are. They're all doing worse stuff than we ever think of, and
Uh-huh.
they get away with it every day,
Yeah,
without a
that's pretty
doubt.
wild. It's pretty
Yeah,
wild.
it's nuts,
We're
man.
the we're the lowly we're the lowly common folk, okay?
Oh yeah. Well, we're nothing but tax farms for the rich and famous. That's all we are. That is all we are, man. Which is why I pay mine late every year, or I just try not to pay them at all until I start getting really,
I
really
always
foul
try to
letters on
not
them.
pay taxes. Are you kidding? Hell yeah.
Ah,
If I can get out of that shit, it's
yeah,
hell yes.
yeah, without a doubt. I think we should all just do it. Like we just all come together as a society and just, hey, this day we're done, and watch
Done.
watch what would happen. Not only would it probably collapse pretty hard, but you know what? Fuck the politicians. I'm okay. We'll
You're
burn this
right.
whole house down if we have to. Totally for it.
Sometimes, according to our ancestors and our forefathers that founded this country, that's it. That's exactly what's needed.
Oh yeah.
You know. Hmm.
So fun fact, that's kind of where my name Grimy American came from.
Okay.
Uh, and here's how I got there. So my initial name was going to be the Filthy Colonial. All right, just the old back when the original Americans were telling the king to go fuck himself, and I was like, that's kind of what I wanted. Somebody
Yeah.
had took that name, so I stayed up all night and I was like coming up with acronyms, or not acronyms, but synonyms for those two things. And
Hmm.
then I found Grimy American, which is kind of on brand, the beer drinking, cigar smoking, gun loving piece of shit American that I am. So that's how I settled on that name. So it kind of spawned from that, revolutionary movement to some extent.
I love it, man. I love it.
Yeah. So eventually, when I get my T-shirts going, the first design is going to be something along those lines. So wait
There
and
you
see
go.
for that.
Well, yeah, man, you got some, I mean, there's some definitely good as I'm looking at some of your videos with your headset, I mean your helmet and your stuff like this video right here, you're drinking a beer. Like I could see you having doing like a screenshot right there where you're drinking something and doing like one of those cartoon-esque kind of things, and
Oh
put it on
yeah,
a t-shirt,
yeah. Like one of those. I've been playing with AI quite a bit.
Okay.
Look, that video, I never expected that to even do anything. Like,
Yeah.
it's so weird the videos that blow up.
Yeah, I know. Look at this. Like how
I
many
think it was
views
like
these things have?
1.6 or something last I checked, but I'm like, I, I made that in 5 seconds after I got done filming a bunch of other videos for TikTok. And I was like, this will go nowhere. I just needed to post something that day.
That's awesome.
But yeah, and now I feel like I'm stuck with the helmet now, because when I post a video without it, it doesn't do well. So I'm like, I think I've been pigeonholed by TikTok. I got to wear the helmet.
Yeah, you get that's exactly what happens. You get stuck
Yeah,
in that in that one thing. And that's, usually what kind of does it. Like we see what works, what doesn't. We see some views, and I do that on my CNR reviews as well. So, like some of the shorts I put on there, I'll uh I'll see what hits and what doesn't, and I'll kind of try to replicate that on the next thing that, next item I'm reviewing, just a little short thing.
Yeah.
And we used to do long term or long form reviews, 3 to 5 minutes, 10 minutes or whatever on certain things. And those do well, they do okay. But the
Mhm.
shorts are really pushed. And we, you get instant feedback or a lot faster feedback from the shorts than you do
Oh yeah,
the long form stuff. So it's a
for
lot
sure.
easier to see what's more popular.
Yeah, and you can look at all the insights and all these tools they give you for these things, but it's really just you know if you got to get people's attention immediately. So
Yeah.
they try to find that is the hard part.
Uh-huh. It's funny, man. Yeah. So what's your next big piece of gear you're looking to get or gun?
Right now, actually, before we even started this chat today, I was adding parts to my cart for my like GPR type rifle. I've wanted a general purpose gun for a while. It's going to be a 14 and a half inch LPVO with a piggyback red dot. Basically, the jack of all trades, master of none kind of rifle. So you're not stuck with just a red dot. You've got some magnification. I'm kind of going that route. So all those parts are in there. I actually just ordered the scope, so that'll be the next thing going in. Um, if you ask my wife that question, it would be all of her gear that I have yet to buy yet. So I got to get. I've got her a plate carrier put together. I've
Nice.
got everything for my wife's gear, with the exception of she needs a new helmet and she needs a pistol belt. So that'll be the stuff I should technically be getting.
Now, does she like to shoot? Have you taught her how to shoot and all that kind of
She
stuff?
does. So she got into it with me pretty much as soon as I started. She really didn't care a ton as much as I did, but
Sure.
as stuff started getting crazier and crazier, she started to get more and more into it. So now, at this point, she's worked at like 3 gun shops. She's worked at a range. I mean, she's probably bought more firearms than I have technically. But yeah, she's definitely into it for sure. She's going to be a good sidekick if shit goes south. I can say that much.
Hmm. That's good to
Yeah.
have.
So oh
Yeah.
yeah, for sure. She had to have her own set of nods too, so I got her a set of those. So
Well,
yeah,
years ago, I used to joke with my wife about uh, the way she would freak out about certain things or whatever. And I'm like, you're not going to be on the zombie team when shit falls apart, okay? Because you're going to be like the dead weight. We're going to have to keep picking up and carrying along. Like you got to
right.
step up your game.
Yep.
But I taught her how to shoot when we were first married, and it was pretty funny because when we shot, taught her how to shoot pistols, and then we were actually in California at the time, back when it wasn't as crazy as it is now. It was actually
Oh
nice
yeah.
in 1992, but it was we were watching this guy's house for him while they were in Latvia. They were from Latvia. We met him at church, and we house sat for him for like a month and a half. Okay, and they had an orchard. The guy was an architect out in California, and he had a avocado orchard and an orange orchard. Okay, it was beautiful, beautiful property, built-in pool or in-ground pool. He designed his own house. It was on like a hillside. I
Hmm.
mean, some of the most breathtaking views in the mornings and
Sounds
evenings.
like
And so we would go out in the orchard and shoot. And I had a 16 gauge, a little tiny shotgun or whatever, and taught her how to shoot that. Taught her how to shoot a 9 mil, and then we shot. One of my friends had an AR, and when we shot that, uh, she was pregnant with our first son, Christian,
it.
who's
Hmm.
about your age. He's one of the guys that helped start the channel or was doing the airsoft thing. And she was like, "Is it gonna hurt the baby's ears?" And I was like, "No, honey, it's gonna be fine." But
He's got the best set of earmuffs on right now. You're fine.
right,
Yeah.
absolutely, yeah. Stick your head underwater, you can't hear. It's gonna
Yeah.
muffle all
Exactly.
that stuff.
Yep. Yep.
But yeah, she's been great with all that. She's all of our boys, like I said, they all have these guns and their gear and all that kind of stuff. My oldest son, he's into same type of stuff you're into. He's got the plates, he's got he's a prepper. So he's
Yeah.
got 2 years worth of food for all of us, not just for him. Like he has his
Yeah.
own house by himself. He's the only one out of our kids that are that is not married, doesn't have a girlfriend. He has a dog and doesn't want a girlfriend.
He can afford all of it.
It's like, no, I'm good, man. He's
Yeah,
got stashes of ammo and guns and food and the water thing, like the life straws. He'll buy stuff for the whole family. Like, okay,
yeah.
we can take care of, you guys and this and that. Like, I've got food for everybody, and whatever. He's all into it, man. He lives out in the sticks. It's a really small town. Well, the area covers a big area. The area he lives in, the town
Hmm.
he lives in is big as far as a footprint, but low population. And he's got like 2 acres out there, really quiet, and he loves it.
He's
And
setting himself up perfectly.
oh, he is, man. He
Y'all are gonna have
really
to bug
is.
out to his house.
I'm telling
Yeah,
you. Oh yeah,
right.
it's great. It's a great location. It's beautiful out there. But yeah, we talked about for years, me and my boys getting 5, 10 acres out here in the woods to just set up
Hmm.
like a getaway, and a shooting range built in and just out in the middle of the woods. There's a lot of open land here in South Carolina, like untapped land that you
Right.
could just, if you didn't need, utilities run to it. I mean, it's fairly cheap, right?
Oh
Out in the
yeah,
sticks, and you could buy 10 acres, pretty easily
easy.
out in the woods.
Well, it's good that your entire family's in on that, though. You know
Yeah,
what I mean? Like it's good that they all have the mindset to even care about that kind of stuff.
right.
Just because right now, as it stands, it's like me and one other family member and my wife
Yeah.
that are even going to be attempting to try to cover these bases at this point. So that's good though. It's good. I try to teach as many of them to shoot as possible, but some of them just don't care. Yeah, well, that's on you. Don't come knocking on my door.
Right. Yeah, and
Yeah.
my youngest daughter, she married a guy that is uh he's into guns, his family's into guns, he's so just kind of like a country boy down here,
Hmm.
into metal, but also country music. Um so we've gone to a bunch of concerts with them from Ice Nine Kills to,
Oh yeah.
all kind of metal concerts to
Hmm.
we just went to a country music concert with them 3 months ago, 2 months ago, uh, when it was real small. It was this real small venue, but Drake Milligan is like he's just now starting out, right? He's
Hmm.
still like playing in small bars and stuff, but his voice sounds a lot like Elvis.
Oh
And
really?
yeah, he doesn't try to sing like Elvis. He just the way
Naturally
he,
sounds that way.
yeah, exactly.
I've never heard of them. I have to look them up.
Yeah, yeah, he's really cool, man. And I love little, going to small shows like that. We went to see
They're the best.
one of my sons and I went to see. Uh, oh my God, I'm not going to think of it. Oh, this is years ago. We went to see this metal band. Um, oh, I can see the album too, and I can't think of it. But anyway, we went to see this real small venue in North Carolina, and it was great, man. I love some of these small venues that are just like it's real tight, it's packed, right? And
Hmm.
everyone's going crazy. And of course,
Yeah.
the mosh pit, which I usually stay just on the outskirts of it because I don't want to spill my beer. Okay,
Right. It's expensive.
telling you.
Like 13, $15 for one of them when you go to one of
Uh-huh.
those concerts, man.
I'm telling you now.
But them mosh pits get wild.
Oh yeah.
There's a small venue up the road from where I live at, and I'm trying to remember who we went and watched, but it was a big name band, and my wife wanted to be right in the middle. She'd never been in a mosh pit before. I was like, my wife's 100 pounds
Oh
on a good day
shit.
on a good day after a meal. She's a tiny woman,
Yeah.
uh, so she wanted to be in a mosh pit just one time. So we went in there, and I'm like, we're packed, and I'm naturally kind of protective over my wife,
Sure.
which as you should be. But people are like ramming into us and everything. I'm like trying to like keep my arms out as hard as I can to like create a barrier so she can breathe. And I'm telling you, by the end of that show, I was wore out. I have never been that wore out in my entire life.
I'm sure.
She got to crowd surf her way out of that, by the way. I did not. So
That's awesome.
yeah, but yeah, they get wild. They get wild. Stay on the
Uh-huh.
outskirts. Enjoy your beer.
Yep.
That's the good way to go about
That's awesome, man. Well,
it.
listen,
Hmm.
brother, it's been great talking with you. I had a
Yeah,
great
man.
time meeting you, and I'm glad we got to meet and set
Yeah,
this
glad
up.
we made it happen this time around.
Yeah, me too, bro. I appreciate you.
Yeah.
I appreciate what you're doing on TikTok. Anyone watching or listening, go follow this guy. I'll have all your links in the description of all the videos, remember where they're posted, or audio on every platform. If anyone doesn't know where to find me, just Google Trifecta Airsoft or Trifecta Airsoft Podcast. We're on every platform that you can think of out there, even a lot of podcast platforms that I didn't even know that were out there. Podcorn, I don't even know. So, so things like that, that we're a lot of these places, a lot of these sites will index podcasts that are consistently putting out content. And you know, I've been putting out a lot of podcasts over the last couple of years. So go search it and follow this guy, the Grimy American, on TikTok and Instagram, and go give him some likes. Tell him if you found his channel from this podcast, let him know that you found it from here. So yeah, man, I appreciate you, brother.
Awesome, man. Thanks for having me on.